Hello, Legion. This is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more of The Long Dark in our Against All Odds series. If you happen to miss my announcement about what happened with the audio in this episode, I'll put a card to it on the screen right now so you can kind of be up to date with what's happening here. This is the first time since Season 1 of Against All Odds that I am voicing over an episode of content that I've already recorded. It's especially necessary in Long Dark content where I have audio issues because, of course, I can't re-record Long Dark content, unfortunately. So, yeah. Interesting times, and this is just me checking to see if the weather is still kind of outside the way it was before. We're going to use a trick that was recommended in the comments here to pass some time. It's a little bit shifty, but I've already done it in this series once, so I figure, you know, we've already crossed the line in this series. You know, it's not something I do every single series, but given the situation with cabin fever and the fact that I'm recording for YouTube and the fact that we need to get this episode started, this is, yeah, we're going to do this. Don't judge me. Not even a little bit, please. Hurry up, Hadrian. You know, I can hear you making excuses right now. Okay, there you go. So, all right, so we're going to break that down using the light of that match, which clearly lasted for the entire hours that we were breaking that down. But that passed a little bit more time, and now the sun is a little bit closer to rising as a result of that. And we can start this episode proper. But again, this is me voicing over the episode. What that means is that this is content that I've already recorded, and this is not simultaneous commentary. This is me watching the episode and recording commentary on it as I watch. So, oh, hello. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah, I'm going to go back inside now because that wolf has decided to make my life miserable. I think I thought about maybe... yeah, that's right. He's going to go around to the left here, which, of course, yeah, look, that makes it super dicey as far as telling where he's going to approach from. So we're just going to go back inside. I think I heard the approach bark right there as I turned around. So keeping our distance from that wolf, and we're going to pass a little bit more time before we head out. But I wanted to start this episode off when I was recording it with a little bit more upbeat of a start and a little bit faster of a start, because cabin fever and bad weather can really make for some sticky situations, literally sticky, where you're stuck in a spot. And it's one thing when you're playing on your own, but when you're playing a YouTube series, especially when the series has just come back from a hiatus, you know, in my head, I'm thinking, this is not like, I want this episode to be like exciting, and I want to go places. So we're going to get to Coastal Highway, or at least we're going to, or not to Coastal Highway, but to Desolation Point as rapidly as possible. So we just broke down another item nearby. Of course, that is giving us some additional wood that, as Jennifer just pointed out, is that additional wood is going to be weighing us down. So we now have daylight and nice weather, and because of that bunny we see in front of us, we know that things are relatively safe. There's a mailbox. Now check this out. This is interesting. Look over to the left. Do you see what I see? I remember going like, what in the world is going on? I don't know that I've seen this before, but there's a second mailbox buried in the snow. Yeah, I don't know either. It's weird. But there it is. And we have another house that's intact that hasn't been investigated yet. This is me being super paranoid about other animals in the area. We're getting pretty tired at this point, so we're going to have to rest.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
I know. So we have another house to go through. Decent ski jacket. That's plenty heavy. Gonna start picking up a lot of heavy stuff. Yeah. Did I just... Hadrian, you didn't just do what I think you just did. Hadrian. Dude, there was a book on that shelf. I'm pretty sure it was a training book. You just literally went right past... Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go... Alright, mental note. Now I know how you guys feel when you're watching my content back. See, this is the nice thing about doing voiceover commentary, is that I'm not multitasking right now. All I'm doing is watching and talking. I'm not watching and talking and playing. So it's a lot easier to catch things. The number of incredulous comments that I've gotten from Long Dark players, it's not just me. I mean, it's a YouTube comment phenomenon in particular. You know, people watching Let's Plays. Not everyone, I think some people are just doing it to be funny, but not everyone always recognizes that, that the multitasking involved in recording a Let's Play does make it genuinely more difficult for a human brain, any human brain, to play as well as someone who is not doing all these things at once. So, you know, you get people commenting going, how did you miss that? And actually, you'd be surprised how easy it is. But I can definitely see where you guys are coming from now that I'm watching myself. So obviously just passing the time with a little bit of commentary here while we go through this house. Not a whole lot to do. One thing that I do want to mention, I mentioned this around the same time in this episode when I was originally recording it before the audio went awry. I do want to express thanks to the particular commenter who pointed out to me that you can, in fact, when you have cabin fever, sleep in cars. I knew that, but I didn't really know it, if that makes sense. Like, it's something that... Right, look for the book, Hadrian. No, okay, not going to go for it. All right. Maybe I'll see it when I'm leaving. Who knows? It's something that I think I've done before, but whenever I get cabin fever, I think that it's just not something that occurs to me very often, and because the vast majority of my cabin fever gameplay has happened on YouTube when I am playing in this distracted well, not distracted, but this multitasking fashion, you know, it doesn't occur to me as easily to, hey, just get in a car, especially if there's when you're in an area like Coastal Highway or any zone with highway in the name where there are going to be cars nearby. It gives you an opportunity to get through the cabin fever situation a little bit more easily, especially when we're wearing ridiculous amounts of warm clothing. Now, whatever you do, Hadrian, don't forget about the body. There you go. Thank you.
This stuff will come in handy.
All right, so lots of clothes. And I'm not convinced that there wasn't something sitting on top of that, yeah, totally missed that book. I'm not convinced there wasn't something sitting on top of that dresser by the bed. Okay, so speaking of cars, there is one. I'm going to point toward it with the rifle in just a second, but there is one in this direction here. We're going to start heading towards Desolation Point, but first, dead guy. And the dead wolf. That's the one that we stabbed. Field dressing your kill. So at least we got that book. That's nice. Again, one of the reasons we're going to Desolation Point right now is that... Yes, I'm taking the high ground to make sure there's no wolves. Is that it is a zone that we've been to before in the series and on the channel, and a lot more Long Dark players are familiar with Desolation Point than they are with, say, Milton. But I want to end the series on Milton. We're ending the series on 100 episodes, period. And we are... I want to spend the final leg of the series doing something new and exciting. I still freaked out when I saw that branch sticking out of the snow. Thought it was a wolf for a second, even though I'm just watching post. I'm watching the recording after the fact now. Still happens. All right, so yeah, I'm heading towards a car, staying as far away from the road as possible because I don't know what's around that corner to the left. Yep. So we're going to head towards that vehicle and then head into the transition zone, but after we rest for a bit. Now, of course, vehicles are not the most insulated thing in the world, so you shouldn't just go resting in vehicles all the livelong day when you have cabin fever. I have a stupid amount of warm clothing on. I am wearing two, not one, but two expedition parkas. Okay? So don't try this at home if you're playing, especially on higher difficulty level, especially in late game when the world is colder, if you have that setting turned on. And because you can do that now, custom difficulty. Don't just assume that what I'm about to do is always possible, because I'm going to do it a couple of times this episode, believe me. If a blizzard hits when you're sleeping in a car, things can go south real quick. Bearskin bedroll and some expedition parkas can go a long way towards that. I don't even have a bearskin bedroll. As someone pointed out not too long ago, I haven't even shot and killed a bear yet. To tell you the truth, it's something I've very rarely done in the Long Dark. It's another artifact similar to cabin fever. It's another, and my learning to adapt to cabin fever, like getting in a car. I haven't played the Long Dark that much offline, believe it or not, since the bear was added to the game. And think about how long that's been. That's how busy my life is. And yeah, there are other games I play recreationally as well. So yeah, this is me role playing. I'm going to sleep in the back seat because that's what a normal person does. And we're going to use this environment to get a little bit of rest. I am first going to eat the stuff that I have, but first let me check my trusty handy dandy journal to make sure that that's not an absolutely crazy thing to do. Cooking skill. Never get parasites or food poisoning. That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. And I was just triple checking that to make sure it didn't apply just to specific types of food. Excuse me. It does not. So we're going to eat the dog food. And I remember tripping over my words here when I was recording this moment originally. But it blows my mind. I really thought dog food was closer to a pound. It's only 2/3 of a pound. But saying what I just said about the dog food, that simple thought that I just got out in one try, I don't know what it was when I was recording this episode the first time. Oh my God, guys. My tongue and my lips just did this thing where all of a sudden they didn't want to work. And I couldn't express that thought. Okay, so got that sewing primer. That was what gave me cabin fever before, you jerk. I can sit here and break down some items, but I think I'm going to rest first because I need to. So we're going to just live on the edge. I remember talking about what I was talking about a moment ago, not knowing for sure that I would be okay if a blizzard rolled in. And see, especially with the kind of slightly ominous music starting.
I'm gonna need to rest soon.
Yeah, we're working on it, Jennifer. Oh yeah, voiceover commentary or not, I'm still going to talk trash to the voice actors. It's never going to stop. So, every now and then I get a commenter who's not a regular Legion member, just someone watching the content. Because obviously you're not a regular Legion member if you're saying this to me. But they talk about how annoying it is that I, will talk to the voice actors, and I'm like, it's just like, those comments in particular, they have made me laugh out loud when I see them. Because it's like, oh man, you don't need to be watching this channel. Okay, so now cabin fever has been healed, but we still have cabin fever risk. Part of the reason for that is that we are so late in the game that cabin fever risk sets in a little bit easier the later it is in the game. And just because we've gotten rid of the cabin fever doesn't mean that we still aren't in danger of contracting cabin fever. We still need to spend some more time outdoors. A really decently long amount of time outdoors in order to be truly safe. The sun has set, but we still have a decent amount of leftover, kind of sunlight in the sky. Some dusk light, I guess you could say. And we're going to use that to head into the transition zone here. Very, very cautiously. It's called Commuter's Lament. I'm excited to go back to Desolation Point. I think I said this in the original episode. I don't think it was in the previous one that you guys watched. I'm excited to go back because it contains a moment from the Long Dark. It contains... Oh yeah, I think I recorded it... I don't know, when did I... No. It was at the end of this episode. I remember now because I remember where I was. But I'll go ahead and say now, I'm excited to go back to Desolation Point because the last time I was in Desolation Point, the last time I was headed this way was in my Interloper series. And if you have not watched my Interloper content in Faithful Cartographer, the more recent Interloper series, go to my playlists, look up Faithful Cartographer Interloper, and look for an episode title. I don't remember the episode name. I was going to look it up after I recorded this episode originally, and then I discovered the audio problem, and I got ticked off, and I recorded that announcement, etc., etc. But go back and look for an episode that just seems like the title is implying a major miracle. Because there's a moment in that series that perfectly captures the reason that I love this game and the reason that I brought it to the channel in the first place, the reason that it tells such amazing stories and is such a visceral, exciting, amazing, and unique experience. And we haven't been to Desolation Point since that moment, since that episode, so I'm excited to be going back. Granted, we're not playing on Interloper mode, but I'm still excited to be going back. And yes, I'm being so cautious right now, because wolves. We do have our condition back. We're all the way up to 100, I think, so we're okay in that regard, but there are wolves in this area. And by the way, one thing I did mention at this particular moment in the recording, I've noticed ever since, there's a little bit of a fun fact that I started sharing at this point. And as a matter of fact, I'll do what I did before, and I'll say I'm going to talk about it in a second, because there's a moment where I talk about it in the car, so I might as well use that pause when I'm seeing it to describe what I'm going to describe. But it relates to the wolf population. A little bit of a fun fact that I've observed since the latest patch, since the Rugged Sentinel patch was released. So that wasn't a wolf, that was a loon. I'm going to veer back to the left here, just making absolutely sure the area is clear of wolves before I go just charging towards the mailbox and the house and the basement and the car. Because I've experienced this zone... Hey, look, a deer. I've experienced this zone both ways. I've experienced it crawling with wolves, 2, sometimes 3, I feel like, well, maybe 2 might be the maximum, but still, like, I've encountered a bunch of them just trying to get through one time. And I've gone through here multiple times without ever seeing a wolf. Same difficulty level. It's weird. The patrol routes for the wolves here are really wide. So this is me just being super cautious, and that's the basement right there that I want to duck into really quickly. I'm remembering what happens when I get to the basement. Hang on. Wait for it. You're about to see it. That reminds me, someone commenting on my announcement about the voiceover episodes was like, oh, you might be foreshadowing some stuff. There's some foreshadowing for you right there. So, you know, the game really threw me under the bus that last episode, right? With cabin fever right away and getting stuck with the terrible weather and not being able to make the last 5 minutes of the episode interesting. You know, just like I was talking about earlier, this episode about the importance of making a return episode in a series, you know, giving it momentum and making it fun, and the game really screwed me. And notice what the game is doing for me right now. Gave me lantern fuel, gave me accelerant, even some antiseptic. I think I am going to take it with me. But it doesn't stop there. Hang on. More lantern fuel. It really is like the game is saying, I'm sorry, Hadrian, have some lantern fuel on me. My bad. That cabin fever move was kind of a dick play. Here's a ruined dress shirt for you. And some worn work pants. But of course, now what you're thinking is, Hadrian, how many heavy clothing items are you carrying that you need to break down right now? And you've got a lot of wood on you because you broke down stuff to pass time? Come on, dude, what are you doing? Alright, our lantern fuel is almost gone, but hey, we got a bunch more, so we're okay. I'm going to step outside and go to the car, and then we're going to share that fun fact. Relating to wolf populations. One of the reasons I hated to lose the commentary that I recorded for this episode originally is, as you can tell from what I'm trying to make up with my voiceover here, I had a lot of... I shared a lot of thoughts on Rugged Sentinel and future content for The Long Dark and past content for The Long Dark. I had a lot of pleasant reflections while recording this episode, and I lost all of them. So, like, there's everyday commentary and there's very dense commentary, and I feel like the commentary on this particular episode was quite dense and had a lot to it. Hey, Frozen Angler, we've gotten a few instruction booklets lately. That's nice. And a note. This one is an interesting note. Let's look at this one real quick, and then we'll get to the fun fact. A note left behind. Scrawled musings. We've lost a couple of people to hyperith. I still don't know what that means. I stared at it blankly for a second. You might see the mouse move. Yeah, because I was confused. The cold last night. There's only 5 of us left, but fortunately Sean's one of them. He's keeping me going, and he even gave me his last fruit pastille. It's a shame we didn't know each other before the event. He would have made a nice BF. I hate this place so much. I should have listened to Mama. Doing the exchange student program was the worst decision I've ever made. I wonder if she's still alive. Contributed by backer 644. Not bad. Backer 644. Good stuff. All right, so here's the fun fact while I'm sitting here in this car. So I noticed when they released the custom settings in Rugged Sentinel, when I pulled up Interloper settings, when Interloper was first released, go back and watch my initial description of the content in my first Interloper series and some of the other stuff that I've talked about. You might have heard me talk about it. One of the things they described about Interloper was that when you are playing Interloper, the wolf population is reduced, but the wolves are more deadly. And when I was playing the Interloper series last, the Faithful Cartographer Interloper series that I just mentioned earlier, I kind of felt like that wasn't the case, didn't I? There were moments where I was like, I feel like there's a lot of wolves around. This doesn't quite feel like Interloper when it started out. And my suspicions have been confirmed. When you look at the custom settings for Interloper, they're no different, I believe, as I recall, than Stalker. They're certainly not less than Stalker. That is definitely true. So one thing I'm going to be doing in, and by the way, this is me breaking down some of the heavy items. Look at this, 3.3 pounds for the work pants. Yeah, we're going to get rid of those. But one of the things that I'm going to be doing in custom content in the future in the Long Dark, in creating my own kind of style of difficulty mode, is I'm going to be bringing that aspect of Interloper back. I am actually going to reduce the wolf population. It's not to reduce the challenge. There's other things I'm going to do to make the difficulty mode different and in some ways more difficult, because there are some ways in which Interloper is actually a little bit easier than Stalker, or not any harder than Stalker. So there's still some tweaks that I can make other than the wolf population. But I'm going to make my future Interloper content, well, Interloper with air quotes, because it's not going to be raw Interloper difficulty, it'll be custom difficulty. I'm going to make those series I'm going to make them more focused on other types of challenges and custom gameplay and ways that the Interloper mode was originally designed to be, which was, again, when it was first advertised, wolves were less plentiful, but they were more dangerous. So that's definitely something you'll see in the future as far as my custom content for the Long Dark. So, all right, getting rid of that clothing definitely got rid of some extra weight that we were carrying that we didn't need to be carrying around. And I think I do need to repair some things. I can't remember if I did it now or later. I'm carrying a bunch of extra stuff. That's part of what I'm talking about right now, is that I'm carrying the heavy hammer, I'm carrying the hacksaw, I'm carrying a lot of things that, frankly, when I get to the forge in Desolation Point, I will be able to drop those items because I won't need them anywhere else. I won't need the hacksaw except when I'm at Desolation Point getting metal to forge things. That's why I tend to leave hacksaws at forges. Same with heavy hammers. That's where you need them. So even if you don't have all the metal you need and you might want to use a hacksaw to break something down, still, like, a hacksaw is heavy to carry around. Plus I still have that flashlight with me, which I was realizing earlier in this recording, I think. Completely pointless to have that with me. Alright, so we still have a slight cabin fever risk, but it's going away. And I think I'm going to pass a little bit more time. Oh yeah, I am. This is actually cool because I don't often pass time when I have a view of the outside world like this. Check this out. This is absolutely gorgeous. There's some more foreshadowing for you. Here it comes. Look at that. Just that burst of dawn light before the blizzard kicked in. I loved that. I actually forgot that the blizzard kicked in when it did. I just remembered the dawn glowing in like that, just being really pretty. Totally forgot that it got ruined like a second and a half later. Oh well. All right, so drank some water to save a little bit of weight there. We have plenty of water on us, thankfully, because of that extra house that we paid a visit to. And just like we saw in the episode where I was on Timberwolf, we can get around in a blizzard. I don't want frostbite, so I'm not going to stay out in the blizzard forever, but I'm going to go ahead and start heading for the zone exit right now, heading for Desolation Point, because there's no reason for us to dilly-dally, lollygag, etc., so on and so forth. We need to get the hell out. Time is precious. See, I remember making a snarky comment about wolves sneaking up on me at this point in the episode, and I don't remember what it was. That's the kind of thing you lose when you have random audio issues. And I haven't... That was the frustrating thing about the need to do these voiceover episodes. Like I said, it's been since Season 1 of Against All Odds. Season 1 of Against All Odds, people, was 2015, okay? It's 2018 now. So it's been a long time since Season 1 of Against All Odds, and... Or was it early 2016? It might have been early 2016. Maybe. I can't remember if I started against... No. I think it was November, December 2015. But anyway, it was a long time ago. It's been a long time since I've had such an unexpected audio screw-up that I've had to do a voiceover thing like this. So, yeah. My frustration was palpable in my announcement video that I made, for those of you that missed it. Kind of made a judgment, made the decision to wear my heart on my sleeve and communicate that frustration rather than bottle it up. Try and maintain some, exterior. Sometimes it's good to just be real, even if it's public. Sometimes it's not, but if you're genuine, or at least if that's your intention, it can be a worthwhile thing. Oh yeah, I remember what happened here. This is me trying to get a spot off of my monitor. Oh, this is super meta right now because, the spot's not on my monitor anymore, so there's nothing, for me to comment on in this moment, but when I was originally recording this episode, the reason I paused it is there was a spot, and I was spending this moment then talking about, how important it is, especially playing YouTube, when stuff like that can throw you off, because it was I don't know what got the spot on the monitor, but it was enough to make me think that I was seeing things in the game. Especially when the background is pure white, and you have that contrast. moving in certain directions and moving in certain ways, like it could look like something like an animal or anything, you know. So I wanted to get rid of it. All right, so we're making our way around to the exit here. And again, the end of this episode is where I originally did spend some time talking about that episode in that Interloper run that I hope you guys will go back and check out. I might even do a link, if I can remember, to that episode right now. Let's actually make a note of what time it is in this recording. Let's see, 25:20 or so. That's okay.
I can use this.
So I'll make a note of that, and I will link that episode if you want to watch it. Like I said, it contains like the reason that I love The Long Dark. Yeah, I remember now. I got back into the car. Go back and watch that a second ago when I got in the first time. I got in and it was letting me face the seat back. It was really weird. It never does that. But it was throwing me off when I saw it happen because I didn't know what to think. But, all right, so Jennifer talked about it being cold and needing to get inside, needing to find a place to escape. That's literally where we're going. We are headed that direction right now, just around this right corner. I think I need to stop for some reishi mushrooms. Well, I don't need to, but I'm going to. Oh, and there's some old man's beer, too, that I could have gotten, but I'm not going to, because I'm not paying attention. Oh, I totally know how you guys feel now. That's funny. It's amazing how different it is. I even saw the old man's beard lichen pop up on the screen for a second there. The things you don't see when you're commentating while playing. It's amazing. All right, so we're in here now. There's plenty of stuff to pick up. And, of course, this is the last save point that I have on the file, so I can resume commentary from here next episode once you know, things resume as per normal tomorrow. So this didn't really set me that far back. It was a frustrating moment for sure to have to do voiceover, but the last time this happened in Season 1 of Against All Odds, it was for 6 or 7 episodes. Yeah, so I had to voice over, I think it was Season 1, maybe it's Season 2, but the point is I had to voice over several episodes of gameplay that did not have any kind of voiceover. I can't remember if they didn't have voiceover at all or if the voiceover was just crappy because of some audio interference. This was at my old apartment where I still had a lot of audio background problems, like people using, say, leaf blowers. Longtime followers of the channel remember how frustrated I used to get about those. Don't have leaf blower problems anymore, thank God. And yeah, generally have a easier time recording stuff in this recording space than I have in a long time, but I still need to do a better job this year with staying on top of the schedule, which is the whole New Year's resolution, which led me to record that announcement that I did, which I mentioned at the beginning of this episode. So only one episode here for this series, 3 episodes for the Civilization content that I had to do voiceovers for. This is the last one that I'm doing. I've already done the Civilization voiceovers as of the moment you're listening to this. So I will go ahead and stop this episode here. In the next one, like I said, we're going to head to Desolation Point. We're probably going to get to the Forge, I imagine, and be able to drop some stuff and explore a little bit of the zone, which is exciting. See what kind of loot is waiting for us. Probably find some more supplies, maybe even some extra lantern fuel on top of what we already have, maybe even some more fire strikers or some more rare gear that we haven't encountered yet. I'm particularly excited about the possibility of finding mucklucks, which are the best boots in the game. We're wearing the gauntlets. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. New episodes coming out every day at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.